Hello, grade 11. Welcome to Physical Science, Quarter 4, Week 1. So, for today, I will be your teacher, Mrs. Princess G. Moscacaleja, Teacher 3 of Santa Rosa National High School. Before we start the session, I would like to ask if kamusta ka? Are you mabuti? Masaya ka ba? Malungkot ka ba? Or masama ba ang iyong pakiramdam? So please comment on the section if kamusta ka. Okay? So for today's discussion, these are the different learning competencies. At the end of the lesson, you students will be able to cite examples of astronomical phenomena known to astronomers before the advent of telescope, explain how the Greeks knew that the Earth is spherical. So, in quarter 4, we will be dealing about physics. But as you can see in the most essential learning competencies, we have here the presence of astronomers, telescopes, and the Earth. So, meaning, you are going to relate physics. We are going to relate physics into Earth science. So we go back to our discussion last sem, first quarter, all about Earth science. But what is physics? So when we say physics, it is a branch of science that deals with the structure of matter and how the fundamental constituents of the universe interact. So forces and matter and its interaction to the universe. So that will be our focus for this quarter 4. Take note that physics studies objects ranging from very small using quantum mechanics to the entire universe using what we call the general relativity. So that one is physics. So lesson 1, we have here the universe through the eyes of the ancient great thinkers. What is a universe? You have probably gazed at the sky on a clear night and wonder about whether there are aliens or parallel universes out there. With the advent of space explorations, the notion of living in Mars has been entertained by some people, just in case Earth ceases to be a habitable planet in the future. So, when we say universe, it is anything that is present in the outer space. It is composed of the different heavenly bodies that can be found in the outer space, such as we have there the planets, solar systems, the sun, asteroids, and many other heavenly bodies. But what is Earth? Okay, I know you already know what is Earth. Earth is a planet. It is the third planet away from the sun, and it is the only living planet. It is a place where us, humans, people, animals live in. Okay? But what is the shape of the planet Earth? So if you were able to draw the planet Earth, you might answer, Mom, it is circle. Mom, it is oval. Okay, definitely the shape of the planet Earth is something like circular, but the correct usage or the correct word to describe the shape of the planet Earth is oblate, spheroid, or spherical in shape. But during the ancient times, we have here the presence of early Babylonian, Chinese, Hebrew, Egyptian. So these ancient people believe that the earth had corners. And when we say if the earth had corners, it has sides, what will be the look of the planet Earth? So the earth is a flat disc. So the earth is flat. But take note, guys, they will not tell that the earth is flat without their observation. So, one sample of their observation is this one. So, as the boat or as the ship moves away from you, what will happen? Okay, very good. So, it will become smaller until such time that this one will disappear. So, meaning, in this portion, they observe that the ship disappear. And since they believe that the earth is flat, therefore, they believe also that as the ship disappear, it will fell into, or it will fell down nag-isuna. Okay? And that's it. It will disappear. That's why they tell and they believe that the earth is a flat disc. So this one is an illustration of a flat earth. But as time passed by, here comes Ferdinand Magellan. So Ferdinand Magellan is a Portuguese explorer. He led the first European voyage of discovery to circumnavigate the world. So he was given credit for circumnavigating the world and proving that the earth is not flat. So, ang ginawa ni Ferdinand Magellan, he traveled around the world using a ship. So, for example, he traveled along the ocean and go back into another direction. Okay? So, that one is Ferdinand Magellan. But how long did Magellan, or how long did it take Magellan's ship to go around the world? So, to everyone's amazement, the crossing was to take 3 months and 20 days. So, imagine, in search of fame and fortune, the explorer Ferdinand Magellan set out from Spain in 1519 with a fleet of 5 ships to discover a western sea route to the Spice Island. He discovered what is now known as the Strait of Magellan and became the first European to cross the Pacific Ocean. So, Ferdinand Magellan is the first to cross the Pacific Ocean. And take note, since Ferdinand Magellan is the first one who crossed the Pacific Ocean, he named the ocean Pacific. So, Ferdinand Magellan is the first one who named the Pacific Ocean, which means peaceful. Okay? Pacific means peaceful because it was calm and pleasant when he entered it. By now, one of his ships has deserted, but the other 4 started the journey across their newfound sea. Okay, so take note of that one. He named the Pacific Ocean, which means peaceful. So that one is the illustration of a round earth. So even before there is no Magellan yet, there are many discussions about the sphericity of the earth. So we have here a timeline for the sphericity of the earth. We have here Pythagoras. Pythagoras is a philosopher, and he started the idea about sphericity. We also have here Plato. Plato established the first school of thought in Western region. He is a teacher and he educated his students on the sphericity of the earth. But take note, he educated his student, he taught his student, but no justification. There is no proof that proof of what he is teaching. He just educating his student. Next is Aristotle. So, Aristotle is a student of Plato. So, Aristotle noted that there were stars in Egypt, but there are no stars in other countries, which proved that the earth is not flat and the earth has a curved surface. Okay, some Aristotle argued the following. We have here the sphere is a perfect solid and the heavens are region of perfection. Solid daw yung sphere and heavens are region for perfection. The Earth's component, falling naturally towards the center, would press into a round form. So even in short travels northwards, the pole star is higher than the sky. So that one is the work of Aristotle. He proved that the Earth is, or he argued that the Earth is not flat. Instead, it has a curved surface. Next, we have here Eratosthenes. So Eratosthenes is a mathematician philosopher. He estimated the circumference of the Earth, and take note, he estimated it by using a stick only. So that's it. Pythagoras, Plato, Aristotle, and Eratosthenes. Aside from the timeline of sphericity, we also have different models of the universe. So before the telescope was invented, ancient astronomers only used their unaided eyes to observe the sky and stars. And by using their own observations, they created models of the universe. The first one is Eudoxus of Synodus. So Synodus is a part of Greece. So Eudoxus of Synodus, considered the first astronomer to explain the retrograde motion of each planet that should be considered to give an accurate description of the universe. So he is the first one to explain that the planets are moving around their axis or in their axis. So in the Eudoxus model, it contains the Earth, the 5 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, the Sun, Moon, and motionless stars. Why is it Earth is not included into the 5 planets? That is because in the Eudoxus model, Earth is the center of the universe. Okay, so that one is Eudoxus model. Next, we have here Aristotle. So Aristotle showed that the universe was spherical and finite. So when you say finite, it is already fixed. Constant na siya. Okay? So Aristotle's model patterned to the model of Eudoxus. So both of them believe that the Earth is the center of the universe. But in the work of Aristotle, something like there is an addendum into his work, because Aristotle believed that there are 4 balancing elements that balance the motion and place of the different planets in that system. So we have here the 4 balancing elements. We have here the earth or the land. We have here the water. We have here the air. And the last one is the fire. Okay, so that one is the model of Aristotle. But today, we all know that the planet revolved around the sun. But who is the first person who attempted to create this model? Sun is the center of the universe. So we have here Aristarchus of Samos. So Aristarchus of Samos was a Greek astronomer who made the first attempt to create the heliocentric model. So helio, which means sun, centric, center model. Sun is the center of the universe. So he was the first person who attempted to create that model. So as you can see in his model, Sun is the center, followed by Mercury, Venus, Earth, Earth's moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And so those are just the different planets that they used to observe using only their unaided eye. There are many works of Aristarchus, but only one remained, or only one survived. So the only book that Aristarchus survived is the sizes and distances of the sun and the moon. Okay, and the sizes and distances of the sun and the moon. So this is the only work or only book of Aristarchus that remained. Bakit kaya? That is because his model disagrees with the model of Aristotle. And looking way back then, Aristotle is a very famous philosopher. If you are going to contradict his work, you will be condemned. You will be criticized. Okay? Anything that Aristotle tell, yun yung totoo during the ancient time. So, the work of Aristarchus is being burned. Pinuuranda. Okay? So, some of the assumptions present in the book of Aristarchus: Earth was spherical. It is far from the sun. Moon passes through the Earth's shadow when they align. And the sun is the center of the universe. So, Aristarchus, he estimated the relative angles of the moon and the sun from the Earth. So, the alignment of the moon, sun, and Earth. So, yun naman yung ginawa ni Aristarchus. Next is Claudius Ptolemy. So, after Aristarchus, here comes again the revision of the geocentric model. So, in this model, it was assumed that the Earth was at the center of the universe. Again, Earth is the center of the universe. In the model of Ptolemy, it explained the motion of celestial bodies accurately. That these celestial bodies are moving in their axis depending on the location of each planet or celestial body. If you are nearer to the center, you are faster in motion. So that one is the explanation of Ptolemy. And he also assumed that the planets are revolving and rotating in their axis. But he specified what are those axes. So the axis that is used for revolution is named deferent. And for rotation is epicycle. Okay, so he assumed that the planets are revolving an epicycle and rotating around the deferent. And, okay, revolving around the deferent and rotating on their epicycle. And we cannot deny the fact that even though Earth is at the center, the Earth is still rotating. That's why there is an X here, and the X symbolizes that one is the center of the deferent. And we call this one as eccentric. Okay? Double C, eccentric. Next, we have here Nicolaus Copernicus. He is a Polish astronomer. He revived the heliocentric model of Aristarchus. So, Copernican heliocentrism. So, this one is the model of Copernicus, but then, again, he was hesitant to publish his findings because he was afraid of condemnation. He was afraid of criticization. He was afraid to be criticized. So, it took him a long time to publish it. It took him a long time to have a courage to publish his work because he was afraid to be criticized kasi nga, ino-contradict mo yung mga observation ni Aristotle if you're going to publish that one. That's why his work only published a year before his death. So, for example, ngayong araw mo lang pinublish yung work mo, ngayon mo lang pinasa, next year, patay ka na. Ganun yung nangyari kay Copernicus. So, some of his work includes heavenly bodies exhibited constant circular perpetual motion along their epicycles. The sun was at the center of the universe. The order of planets from the sun is Mercury, Venus, Earth, the Earth's moon, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and beyond the planet were the fixed stars. Next is the latest one, Tycho Brahe. So, Tycho Brahe was a Danish astronomer. who also made planetary observations. So, Brahe believed in geocentric universe, but the idea of geocentric universe is slightly different from Ptolemy. So, he believed ang geocentric pero magkaiba ng meaning. Magkaiba kay Ptolemy. So, this one is the model of Brahe. So, as you can see, we have here the Earth and the Sun. By looking at that portion, the Sun is the center or the Earth is the center. So, dito sa Tycho Brahe or the Brahe's model, Earth was at the center and the Sun and the Moon revolved around it and all the other planets orbited the Sun. So, as you can see, the Sun is revolving around the Earth, but the other planets are revolving around the Sun. So, meaning, the Sun and the Earth is the center of the universe. That's why he called this one as the geoheliocentric model. Or, we also have here, marami siyang pangalan, Tychonic model or Brahe's model. Okay, so those are the names of the model of Tycho Brahe. But as of today, we all know that the planets revolve around the Sun. Okay, next, the astronomy before the invention of telescope. So as I've said a while ago, astronomers or ancient astronomers used their unaided eye to observe the skies and the stars. And they observe some of these. We have here, the first one is the PLEIADES star cluster. So, PLEIADES star cluster is a star cluster that is visible to the unaided eye. So, Incas people, this one is a tribe. This one is an ancient organization or ancient tribe during the early times. So, they believe that once the cluster or once this PLEIADES cluster appears in the sky, this will mark the start of their year. For example, today is January 1, New Year. Tomorrow, there is a PLEIADES star cluster in the sky. So, it marks start of another year. Therefore, tomorrow will be again January 1. New Year again. So, that is for the Incas people. Next is for the constellation. Considered constellations as representation of their gods. So, we all know that constellations have different patterns and shape. So, dito, they believe that once a constellation appear in the sky, it will symbolize something. So, for example, if the constellation of the god of death, rebirth, and afterlife appears, it means that someone will die, someone will reborn, someone will enter to the afterlife. Okay? Next, we have here the first sight of Venus. So, we all know that Venus is considered as the brightest or third brightest in the sky when it appears in our planet. Okay? But in other cultures, for example, the Mayan culture, the position of Venus was used as a basis in deciding whether to start a battle against another tribe or not. So, the Venus will determine to start a war or not to start it. For example, the Venus is in this portion, there will be no war. If in this portion, let's go to war. Bakit naging basis ang position ng Venus? That is because they believe that the Venus position will become their luck. Okay? For example, pag dito, let's go to war, it means that we will win because the position of Venus is at the right side. So, they base their luck into the position of the Venus. That's why the Mayan culture also built a platform to observe the position of Venus only. It is only intended, dedicated to the planet Venus. So this one is the platform. And this one is located in Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza in Mexico. Okay? So, it is a platform dedicated to observe Venus only. Next, saving the paradigm. So, there is a transition from using the unaided eye to the invention of telescope. But who invented the telescope? Okay, some of you might answer Galileo Galilei, but question mark. So, the one who invented the telescope is Hans Lippershey. So, Hans Lippershey is a lens maker from Germany. He is the inventor of telescope, and he invented the telescope in 1608. Hans Lippershey and Galileo Galilei are friends. That's why Galileo Galilei was the first person to use the telescope to observe the astronomical phenomena in 1609. Telescope was invented in 1609 and 1608, and it was used by Galileo in 1609. So this one is a sample of the telescope used by Galileo to observe the astronomical phenomena in 1609. So see, it's just as simple as that. So let's see what is the universe in the eyes of Galileo. What are the different observations, discoveries of Galileo by using the telescope? First is the lunar mountain. So Luna is the name of our moon, Earth's moon, Luna. So Galileo confirmed that there were mountains on the moon. Okay? And aside from that, as observing the moon, he also noticed the largest moon of Venus, of Saturn. Okay? And the largest moon of Saturn is known now as the Titan moon. Okay? Titan is the largest moon of Saturn. So, aside from observing or discovering that there are mountains in the moon, he also constructed a higher magnification, a 20 times magnification in the end of 1609, and observed that there are craters on the moon. Pag merong nagbunton at dakanumot nagpaunog, which is known as the craters of the moon. And he also observed that the moons of Jupiter. But in 1610, Galileo saw Jupiter only accompanied by 4 seemingly fixed stars. So, meron daw 4 na fixed star na nakapalibot kay Jupiter. And later on, these moons are called now as Europa, Io, Callisto, and Ganymede. Ganymede is the largest moon of Jupiter. We also have here the phases of Venus. So when we say phases of Venus, it refers to the variations of illumination observed on the planet Venus. So just like our moon, there is a full, half, new moon, quarter moon, first quarter moon. Also, Venus has phases. But when will Venus appear again in our planet? So, Venus will come into view after the sunset in December 2022 and be visible in the evening into early August 2023. So, Venus will appear again in our planet December 2022 and August 2023. We also have here sunspots. So, sunspots are dark planet-sized regions that appear on the surface of the sun. Are these sunspots hot or cold? Okay, they appear dark because they are cooler than other parts of the sun's surface. Their temperature of the sunspot is still very hot, though around 6,500 degree Fahrenheit. So those are the observations of Galileo Galilei by using telescope. Is there any question? Okay, I hope none. So let's proceed in this portion. How do you calculate the date of a full moon? Okay, so therefore, in those lunar calendars in which each month begins on the day of a new moon, the full moon falls on either the 4th or 15th day of the lunar month. Because a calendar month consists of whole number of days, a month in a lunar calendar may be either 29 or 30 days long. So, that is based on the modern times now, that 14th or 15th day that will be a full moon. But now, let's use the ancient method. 7778. Okay, so take note. Full moon plus 7, last quarter plus 7, new moon plus 7, first quarter plus 8. So let's take for example this one. So if you take a look on your calendar, we have here 16. Okay, 16. Let's just put 7, 7, 7, 8. 16 plus 7, so the answer will be 23. 23 plus 7, the answer is 30. 30, if you look at on your calendar, April will end at April 30. So, bilang ka ng plus 8, so that will be May 8. Then, balik again doon, 8 plus 7, May. So, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, this will be 15. 15 plus 7, 22 plus 7, 29. And so on. So, that's how we use the computation or calculating the date of the full moon, last quarter, new moon, and first quarter. Okay, so for your performance task, we have here, this one will be 60 points, 5 points each. You're going to answer this one by using our method. So, June 2022, and let's assume that the full moon for June 2022 is June 14. You're going to answer this one. And let's have here, for your written test, go to this link, https://form.gle.ccr.1. Okay, you proceed to this link for you to answer. It will close on Friday. Okay, so I hope you learn well from this lesson. See you next week. Enjoy your vacation. Goodbye, grade 11.